just because it's here, I don't know if you can answer this, but I'm just looking at it right now. I yeah. So I feel some fear and sadness, I guess you could say, this morning, right? Similar to many mornings. And it's the afternoon now, isn't it? But anyway, um, but
Only just.
hmm?
Only just for you.
Only just for me, yeah. Um, and so yeah, part of me is like, oh, I feel fear, so I have to face that because I have to be courageous. I'm on the awakening path, face my fear, and just, and I'm facing and feeling the fear. And then after a while, I'm going, hold on, is this real? Is this just a bunch of thoughts telling me I should be afraid about something that isn't even happening? Should I
Mm,
just be ignoring this? So I just go, well, let's
mm,
just notice the thoughts and ignore that and just come back to and then I feel, I go back and forth between those two places of face into the stuff and it's heavy and it's sad and it's fearful and I should face it. And then I'm halfway through going, hold on a second, I'm just believing thoughts. What am I doing?
mm.
And I should ignore it. And then I feel I'm bypassing in some way because I actually feel the fear and the sadness. And I'm going, is that just because I was telling stories to myself all morning so far?
Yeah.
Um, so I feel I should just ignore it. But I don't know. I'm just confused. And it's not the
Yeah.
first time.
Yeah. Thoughts are incredibly confusing. That's why in nonduality it's about going beyond thoughts, because thoughts are, whenever we're like following thoughts, we're confused. Even if people think they're not confused, they must be confused to be not confused. You have to have both. So it's the nature of thinking. Um, so whereabouts do you feel the fear?
Where I usually feel it in my head, but down into my chest a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's really important to recognize where you feel the fear, because earlier in the talk I spoke about the going from the interpretation of the thoughts down to the body. So this is the important first step. I'm just going to give you steps, but just as a disclaimer, first of all, like if I give steps and if I give an apparent prescription, it cannot be a prescription because there isn't really a you and me. So there's only a description of potential events that may or may not occur. So I just say that as a disclaimer first, because um, you know, I don't want if after we talk and you don't do it, or somebody else is listening and they don't do it, using it as a whip to beat yourself. It's this may or may not happen. So I will say some things and something may or may not happen, just like everything really. But it's really impersonal. It's not your doing. But the first stage would be to recognize the feeling of the fear. So in the head, that's actually not really where you feel fear. That's this. It's been pulled up to the head from thinking about it. But it's good that you can feel it in the head. So feeling's the important part, but it's good that you can feel it in the chest. Fear actually, most probably for most people, belongs in the guts. But the chakras begin to get all confused because of all the stories we tell. So they get pulled up, and you can feel fear in every chakra, but it predominantly is in the guts. And then it's in your heart because it's been pulled up into the heart. And then there's a story in the heart. So just as an example, why it would be pulled up into the heart is because the fear is that you're going to be abandoned or alone. That's an example. The fear of death is actually in the guts, but because it gets interpreted into the heart area, so it gets pulled up into the heart. But this isn't also important. This is all mental stuff that I'm communicating to you. So the first step is simply acknowledging where you feel it. And you feel it in the heart. So just let it be there. If it's in the heart, it's most probably related to loneliness and abandonment of society and these types of things. I'm not saying it is, and I'm not asking you in this moment what it is, but it's just that if you can also acknowledge what the fear is about, that's good. But the most important part is just the feeling, the sensation of it, and the acknowledging of the sensation of it. Once you've acknowledged the sensation of it, and if you can, acknowledge the fundamentals of the fear, the fundamentals of I'm going to die, but it may be I'm going to die because I'm going to be abandoned, as it's in the heart. Then you want to try to focus the personal awareness. So the ability to put the personal awareness is the ability to put your attention on your knee, on your thoughts, on the floor, on the outside window, on your hearing. So that personal awareness, you want to then try and focus it into the present moment. And what's going to happen is you're going to keep, it's going to feel like a battle, but if you can rephrase it as not a battle, as just an amazing thing when it does happen, because it's going to keep going into thoughts, because that's where it's used to going. So you want to focus it into the moment, and you can do that in different ways. You can do that by following the breath, by putting it in the sensation of the I am, of being, or you can put it in itself, so the personal awareness can become aware of itself. And when you're doing this, not ignoring the sensation of fear, but not getting caught up in what I should do, what I shouldn't do, what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right. Every time you go off into to any thought, recognizing this is a thought and bringing the attention back, and not excluding the physical sensations, because the physical sensations are here right now. So that's all you need to do. And this is focusing the thinking mind, and it's acknowledging emotions. It's not bypassing emotions. And this is often what a lot of practices, yogic practices recommend, and they do it in various ways, is becoming present. And once everything begins to settle, which I know that you've experienced, otherwise you wouldn't be into this subject, at points, then there will become a hole in that activity. And you will fall through the gap to no mind, where there's no effort and no mind, and there's something beyond mind. Nisargadatta in our book club, maybe it was with you actually yesterday in the book club, about the piece of paper and the hole in the piece of paper. It's such a brilliant analogy, that there is the piece of paper, which is the practice that I've just described, and then a pencil puts a hole in that piece of paper, and then the light comes through that hole, and that's nothing the paper's seemingly done, but yet the hole is in the paper. It's brilliant analogy.
Yeah, that was yesterday. It's weird. I'm nodding over here, and then every time I do that, I think, "Oh no, she can't see me. My camera isn't on." It's strange.
Yeah, the mind is amazing how much it's working, isn't it? Like it's...
Yeah, thanks. That all sounds right on the money as far as
yeah.
fear
So,
in the
and
heart.
thoughts are really amazing. You know, it will try and catch you up. You know that you're doing something wrong. That you're. It's very simple. The practice that's been given here, but the mind will try to get you to go into it, not because the mind is evil or a devil or anything, but just because, like the fruit, the mind thinks.
Mm. There are sometimes, I don't know about falling through into, like, I suppose I get glimpses the odd time, but they come quite, what's that word? Infrequently, that's the word.
Few and
Yeah,
far between. Yeah.
few and far between, yeah.
Yeah.
And
well, yeah, Karen.
sorry, I was gonna say, and sometimes, yeah, so I could wait for weeks, and sometimes something will inspire me, and I go, oh yeah, the present moment. I forgot what I was doing here. But then instead of that, I'm just gonna bang away at it every day and say this fear. Sorry, oh yeah, go on. Do you want to say something?
What my projection onto the situation would be, and this is most probably from the immense training program I went through with Roger, who, to me, Roger was ultimately positive in every situation. Like, oh, I don't know, I sometimes feel like I shouldn't talk about him too much. You know, I've never asked for, I was going to tell a story of something that happened where, and I was just so amazed by his positivity. But his positivity then affected me. And for me, for one time in a lifetime to have fallen through that gap to no mind is such an immense blessing. To be interested in this subject is such an immense blessing. Life is suffering, and most humans are for billions of lifetimes caught in desire and seeking something in the world. to be going back to the source is such a blessing. Even if it's once in a lifetime, this is an immense thing. The illusion is, what could we call that? Terrific, massive. The illusion is all encompassing. The illusion is the most amazing magic trick that life has.
Yeah. Anyway, just continue can I just say what I was saying just for a minute?
Yes.
What I was trying to do the last few days, just because, this inspiration comes whenever it decides to, which isn't as often as I'd like. And so I'm trying to do just whatever self-inquiry thing that seems to help. So like, for example, what am I that isn't a thought or something like that? I'm trying to the last few days. And I was watching one of Angelo's little short videos the other day and reminded me, I guess I'd seen before, but he's like, when you're watching for the next thought, and then there's some kind of sneaky little subtle thought that becomes the one who was doing that. I kind of knew that, but I was just watching, becoming the one who was doing the practice, and then the one who was, I was looking more closely for that, more vigorously the last few days. And when I look really closely for the one who's doing the practice, enormous amount of fear comes, and I start to just suffocate with like I can barely breathe, and I go, oh my god, I'm going to die, and I think, oh, that must be good, fear is good. Just keep doing that, just keep doing that.
I would suggest it most probably is a good thing. If you become overwhelmed with the fear, though, you can just do something else. But if you can just keep going, refocusing the attention, not getting caught up in the thoughts, and allowing the sensation of fear in, this is, I mean, the fear most probably comes because there is a feeling of dying.
I'm nodding.
And that's such a grace. I want to say your name, but I try to keep everybody's I'm trying to train myself to not say people's names on live stream. But it's such grace this is happening. We forget because we get into our bubbles. We get into the bubble of non-duality, but such grace that there is the urge there to try to challenge the illusion.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. No, I guess it happens often that I have a certain amount of what seems like clarity, not even clarity, but I'm doing something step by step on a particular day, and the next day I expect to continue with that, and I wake up and I'm confused. And I go, what happened to the thing I was doing yesterday? But yeah. Anyway, you've been really helpful.
That's the nature of thought. Confusion, lack of confusion, lack of confusion. What's the opposite to confusion?
Clarity, maybe, is it?
Clarity, yeah. Clarity, confusion. It's the nature of thought, one extreme to the other.
Anyway, thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. Yeah, thanks for the question.
I can say your name. Thank you, Lisa. Everyone knows your name already, don't they? So it's okay.
I did already say your name, but people might have forgotten. Yeah. Thank you. I'll meet you now.